Many religious festivals at this time of year are based around the family meal with friends and family and loved ones, where we get together to celebrate magical occasions. This year, my speech is centered around the people at that table. Your friends, your family, my friends, my family. As the LinkedIn king of Kudos, I would like to tell you about my speech for this year. I would like to tell you about differences that we plan to make this year. I would like to tell you about a different meal next year. But first, let's talk about the meal this year. Many of my friends and family, they have spent Christmas eating not what they would normally eat. They have had less presents underneath their Christmas tree. They have experienced life differently this year to previous years. And that's because the world is not as it should be. The world is not ideal anymore. The world is not filled with happy families and people who have enough to be able to feed their families and have their friends around for dinner too. The world is filled with people who are struggling to survive instead of thrive. And that is where we aim to change things. You see, Kudos is not just a networking facility. It is not a platform to share our voices on. It is not a way for us to come together to realize some of the difficulties in the world. Kudos is real answers to the real problems. Kudos is solutions. Except quite often you'll see that I believe that the solutions are not Kudos. The solutions are people. Because it was people who would use Kudos. It is people that would use the platform, whether that be an advertising platform or a free speech platform where we can vote democratically on various subjects and important things that we need the elites and the powerful people to understand our opinions. And not just them, but we need to understand our own opinions. We need to sit around the dining room tables, maybe at Christmas, maybe at some other time of year. But we need to talk together and realize our own truths. Do we want the world the way it is? Do we want our tables to have less and less and less on them? Do we want to continue to have Christmas trees in our houses and celebrate Christmas instead of Christmas again? Do we want war? Do we want people to be hungry? Do we want our elderly people to die too soon? Do we want our children to die in wars and by being given medical solutions that are not really solutions, but instead are there to line the pockets of the rich and the powerful? You see, I'm not really a king. I'm not really anybody. I'm just a simple person with some simple ideas about how business should be done. How business should be about customers and staff, not the people at the top of the business. I have simple ideas about how to change the world so that then it benefits each and every one of us. So that then next year, our family and our friends can celebrate Christmas with us. And we can put Christmas tree presents at the bottom of the Christmas tree where people are. You, me, most of the people in this world, almost all the people in this world. There are only a few people who are at the top of those Christmas trees. There is only a few elite and powerful people who have control of what we think, what we know as our truth. Whether that is actually our truth or not, that remains to be seen. But that is part of Kudos. That is part of a system called democracy. That is a change that we need to see in our world. And we need to see that change this year. Because change is coming. Change is almost here. And whether we like it or not, that change is going to affect us. We just need to make sure that it affects us in a beneficial and positive way. The world is full of people. Some of them are powerful people. But it's not powerful people that will make decisions or change the world in the future. Because if we look in the past, if we look at history when there has been change, it's not been made by powerful people. It's been made by people power. It's been made by people being the solution. And now, through Kudos, that is possible to happen on a much bigger scale. It is now possible for us all to unite using a new system where we can come together to change the world for our good, for the good of all people, for us all to live in peace and harmony and all experience some of the abundance that is in our world. It's time for us all to celebrate and be happy, be well, live longer, and live healthier and happier lives. Because we're not swallowing the truth that the elites and the powerful and the manipulation and the mass media tell us. No, we're going to realize our own truths, what we really believe, what people think, that we don't hate each other, that we love each other, that racism is a thing of the past, that peace is a thing that we need now, and that slavery, whether digital or through exploitation of people in other ways, should stop. We all want to be able to thrive. We all want to be able to live lives that are filled with happiness and time for our families rather than working 2 or 3 jobs. We all want to not have to take credit just to be able to put Christmas tree presents underneath our Christmas trees for our children and our families and our friends. What we want is our truth. What we want is to live together in peace and harmony. What we want is a world that we can benefit from and that benefits from us. We have a responsibility to our earth. We have a responsibility to each other. And we can only do that if there is a platform that enables us to do it. Kudos is that platform. You may not realize that yet. Many people don't. But Kudos is going to change the world this year. There are already many of us on board. There's a video in LinkedIn and on YouTube that shows some of my team, some volunteers, you might say, who volunteer to change the world with me. And then there are some other people who volunteered to come on our Kudos Latte show to be interviewed, and they answered some questions about what they think of Kudos. Why don't you learn what Kudos is about? Why don't you have a chat with me? Why don't you read the comments and look at the posts and understand that Kudos is a new way of doing business that benefits everybody? Why don't you realize that 2024 is not the time for the World Health Organization or the UN Economic Forum, governments of the world. 2024, it's time for people, and for people to benefit and to live lives that are healthy, wealthy, and happy. So please join me in celebrating 2024 as we move past Christmas. By the end of 2024, let's try and put some more Christmas tree presents at the bottom of our Christmas trees. Just stop those Christmas tree presents from going to the top of the Christmas trees as they exist now. Let's make a difference. Let's make a change before they change the world around us. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been supporting me so far. And I want to say welcome to all those who come to join us in the future. We have a future filled with miracles. And those miracles are each and every one of us. Through our unique identities and our data, we can unify and make real change. Not the sort of change they want, the sort of change that we need. Thank you for listening to this LinkedIn King speech. It's been a little bit of fun with my silly crown on my head. It's also been very serious, much more serious than you may contemplate or imagine. But let's be serious now. We need to change the world for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, our communities, our countries, for the very world that we live in. We need to stop the nonsense that happens. And we need to make the world a better place for all time. Please reach out to me or any member of the team, and we'll be able to talk to you and figure out what we can do to make these changes happen. Thank you for your time. I wish you a happy new year when that happens, with blessings and happiness and real change for the benefit of all people. We